study. This, what looks like mess of vomit, is a couple of days of ground up meat meals. So we were at Hungry Harry's when the team from Nat Geo, the Florida Wildlife Corridor, were here. So we're having ribs and cornbread and chicken, and then we had some barbecues, and then today we had burgers and hot dogs. And so while there's vegetable matter in there, there's pasta as well. It's a lot of ground up meat. And when I took the bucket, before I ground it all up in the incinerator, it made me want to vomit. It smelled so bad, it was off. But when we grind it up, of course, it oxidizes and hydrolyzes, and that messy, stinky area is no longer messy, stinky. It just looks bad. But as we've proven for all these years, and we do want to get a paper published, if any of y'all want to write a responsible scientific paper and get a good protocol, it's absolutely established that when you grind it up, especially in a two-stage incinerator like this one, then you don't have any smell, and it can sit here and there's no cockroaches and there's no flies and the chickens aren't interested, and there's absolutely no downside to this. And this isn't a treatment where it's over plastic. Of course, if you put it in the garden, then you get soil in 3 to 6 days. So we poured that in. This is from a non-inoculated area, and of course it just dries out, and that's just the food waste right there, all nice and dry. And but when you inoculate it with soil, as we did in this one, then we get soil very quickly. So this is one of the ones that was without soil, and it took months to get to this stage. That's just food waste that stuff began to grow in. But when we inoculated it with soil, then yeah, you get some good soil out of it. So yeah, that's what we're recommending everybody do. Take your incinerator, whether it's in the house or outdoors in a wash tub like ours, and then grind up all your food waste. But we want to keep demonstrating that when you have these big barbecues and you have ribs and hot dogs and hamburgers and chicken and all that stuff, that as long as you balance it out with a bit of vegetables, and your meal should be balanced out that way anyway, then you can grind it and just pour it. And that proof is here in the fact that we've just poured it on plastic. But obviously in the garden, it turns into soil within a week and never attracts any insects, any vermin, no rats, nothing. So people were asking, well, great for vegetables, but what about the stuff they say you can't put in the compost? What about the meat from our big American barbecues and holiday meals? Imagine when 4th of July comes out. What do I do with all that, with the ribs and all those bits of hamburger and cheeseburger and stuff? Yeah, you grind them up and no smell. And then you put it in the garden. So you don't need a compost bin for all that. And we need to get, like, HOAs are constantly bothering people about having compost bins, complaining that it's unsightly and that it smells. Hey, Nathan. But if you have an HOA that's stopping you, all you need is an incinerator, and then you don't have to do the treatment that I've done on plastic, obviously. Do what we did over here and just pour the ground up food waste right onto an area of the garden, where we have that hibiscus over there, for example, or those beautiful trees. No one will ever see it in the HOA. And like I say, it will not smell, and there's the conclusive proof. We didn't even put it in the garden. We put it in these plastic. No smell, no animals, no interest by any insects, vermin, rats, mice, anything, chickens, nothing. So yeah, that's the solution. If you live in an HOA, all you got to do is get yourself a food grinder, grind it up, and just pour it in the garden like we've done over here. We've been doing that for years, and no one would ever know. And that way you can compost effectively without composting and take care of all of your food waste. And I mean 100% of it. All right, hope that helps you all. Happy Easter.